please?
You are all set.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so meeting come to order. This is the Rocklin Conservation Meeting, May 11th, 7 o'clock. We'll do a roll call. Virginia's here, Ron's here, Doug's here. I saw Lorraine. Is Charlene on?
Charlene's here.
Hello.
Okay, so everybody's aware we have a full board tonight. So if everybody could read the minutes from our last meeting, I'm gonna put us on mute, and I'll pick it back up in about a minute or so to see if everybody's all caught up on the minutes. Thank you. Uh-oh.
Doug,
Yes.
Charlene and I didn't get any minutes from last meeting.
Okay. So
I couldn't vote on it anyway because I wasn't at the last meeting, but Lorraine would. like to
The
be
minutes
able
you
to
guys
do-
need to vote on is the one for the March. You don't have April's minutes because I wasn't in town to give them to you.
The March meeting.
The March meeting, we didn't vote on at our April meeting.
That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure.
Yep, so that's what you guys need to look at tonight, and then we'll do the other one at our next meeting.
okay, so that's the minutes that are in front of us then.
Correct.
Okay. Lorraine, Charlene, you good? Hopefully.
On mute, but I don't hear anything.
Okay, so as far as the minutes go, how are we doing? Ron, you still reading? Okay, you're all set. Lorraine, Charlene, you're all set?
All set.
All set.
Okay, so let's get a motion to accept the minutes from, what was the date of the minutes?
March 16th.
March 16th. Motion to accept the minutes from March 16th.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
that's Ron, Virginia, unanimous. All right, moving on. Okay, so for anybody who's on the meeting for Dyer Street, not to waste your time, but the meeting has been continued to our next meeting, which is June 8th. So Dyer Street won't be heard tonight. I know you're kind of getting a little used to that, but
Thank you, though.
well, I'm sure you didn't want to sit here for the next hour and listen to us, so I figured I'd let you know.
Why is that always being delayed?
Well, not that I should get into this, but I believe they're having some issues with the design of the project. I believe that the fire station is requesting a cul-de-sac at this point.
Well, there's several issues with this. It's not just them. It's every department in this town has an issue with it.
So
And I just want to make sure that you people, do you guys listen to all the other meetings that go on, like the zoning board, the planning board, the sewer? I know that you guys don't have to, but do you guys listen to any of those meetings at all?
I mean, some of us might not, but that's not taken into consideration as far as our decision. But the reason it's being continued, I'm sure, is because of the design issues of the project. And we really shouldn't be discussing it because the applicant's not on tonight. So I encourage you to come back to the June 8th meeting, and hopefully they'll have all their issues all worked out by then. But
Well, here's the issue that I had. At your last meeting, you gave the guy a continuance, and then he got off the meeting. And he wasn't able to hear any of us complain about it. So before you guys give this guy the go-ahead, I wish you would ask questions on anybody that has any concerns about this meeting, so he doesn't get his answer and then leave.
he's
Because
not,
nobody in this town wants this except for him.
he's not going to get the go-ahead without us hearing it, first of all, and then
Oh, I understand that. I'm just wondering if you guys know that the zoning board doesn't want this, the planning board doesn't want this, the fire department doesn't want this, the
it's
highway department doesn't want this. Nobody wants this except for him.
so, like I said, the project's not going to go through without this board hearing it, and this board always allows public comment on all the hearings. So whomever needs to comment will get to comment on it.
Okay, I'll
Okay.
see you June 8th.
Okay, sir. Thank you. All right. I'm feeling a little tongue.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. So first thing on the agenda is Rocklin Housing Authority. It's a request for determination. Is the Rocklin Housing Authority representative here? Pretty sure.
Sorry, Doug, I am here, Chris Mara. I'm having trouble with my camera, but I am
That's okay.
present.
Okay. So are you going to have the ability to share your screen? Or is that going to be an issue?
Share my screen, yeah, I could do that.
Okay, so motion to open the hearing for an RDA for Studley Court, which is the Rocklin Housing Authority. Motion?
So moved.
Okay, that's Virginia and Ron.
Good, let them handle it.
Don't worry, Lorraine and Charlene, I'll get to you at some point. You guys aren't sitting beside me, so I can't see your hands. Anyway, Chris, the floor is yours.
Sure, so let me just pull this up. I wasn't expecting to actually pull it up. I apologize. I'm just going to explain the work. It's
Can you guys hear that?
basically the project. Let me share my screen.
That's all the volume I got.
Can you see this?
Something's coming up. Yep, we can see it.
So let me go back to the site plan here. As I said, I'm unprepared. I didn't know I was sharing this, but
No.
so this is 8 Studley Court at Rocklin. It's a Rocklin Housing development. The work is creating 2 ADA units, accessible units with wheelchair units, which are going to be in building 1 here, which is just off of Dunmore. I think it's Dunn Memorial Drive. The main road there. I'm showing this because there's a series of ramps that are going to lead into front and rear entrances in building 1 that are within 50 feet of the French Stream. So there's no exterior work as far as, we're not breaking the envelope of the building. It's all an internal renovation. However, there will be a certain amount of permeable, basically grass area that's going to be paved to turn into wheelchair ramps.
Okay.
So this isn't great to describe where the stream is, but it is within 50 feet. And I've been talking to Marty, who I believe is on this in this meeting.
Yes, Marty's here.
Yeah, about adding some, excuse me, about adding some erosion controls to the plans to ensure that there's no runoff that's going to be negatively affecting the French stream,
Okay.
which we have not added to these yet, but we will be putting this out to bid in a few weeks, so that the drawings will be revised to accommodate her suggestions.
Okay. Okay. You got anything else?
That's it.
Okay. Marty, do you have any comments,
Yeah.
suggestions?
Yeah, I just want, I'm Marty Nova with the Beta Group, the commission's peer reviewer and consultant. So before the commission tonight on this is a request for determination of applicability, asking whether or not a notice of intent is required for the proposed project. So just a little quick about the site. The work is going to be in the 200-foot riverfront area to French's Stream and the 100-foot buffer zone to its bank. I think everyone's familiar with Studley Court. It is a developed site. And what they're planning on doing is just making some improvements to an existing building. But for that, they're going to need to construct a handicap ramp, which will basically, there's approximately 200 square feet of impervious surface that will be result from the ramp. So the other resource area that is out there is the 100-year floodplain. And that has a base flood elevation of 89.5. So, Beta is recommending to the commission to issue negative determination of applicability with conditions. We feel that the limited, very small amount of fill in the floodplains is not going to have an impact at all. And we're recommending that erosion controls be placed, between the work and the resource areas. So I think that was all the recommendations that we had for conditions on the determination of applicability. But basically the work is in your jurisdiction, but we feel that it's not going to have an adverse impact on the riverfront, floodplain, or French's Stream itself, as long as they follow, the conditions that we recommend on the determination of applicability, and also making sure that any staging area is more than 50 feet from the river. So again, we're recommending to the commission to issue negative determination, which means no notice of intent is required. But the project itself, the construction does require some mitigation just to make sure that the resource areas are protected.
Okay, I would agree with that. Does the board have any questions? Like what was described, it's just a handicap ramp. There's minor amounts of excavation, minor amounts of fill. Marty kind of touched on that.
Right.
All in all, it's not really going to affect anything. Charlene and Lorraine, do you guys have any questions?
Nope, nothing from me.
Nothing from me.
Okay, does anybody in the audience have any questions? Okay. Motion to issue a negative determination with a couple conditions that Marty suggested.
So moved.
Okay, that's Virginia and Ron. Again. All in favor? Charlene, Lorraine?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. That's unanimous. Marty, you'll draw up the RDA for us, correct?
Yes, yeah, we can probably get to that tomorrow and email it over.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so you're all set, sir. You'll be hearing from us. I'll probably sign it tomorrow or Tuesday, whenever I have it, and then I can send you a copy. Okay?
Sounds great. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hey Doug,
Yes.
can I have a motion to close the hearing first?
It's an RDA. It's actually not a hearing, so.
Okay,
That's the reason I didn't do that.
Yep.
well, you motioned to open, so I figured you needed to motion to close.
I did miss that one.
All right, never mind.
Maybe we need a motion for new secretary.
Go ahead.
Just kidding. Anyway, I figured I'd add a little humor, all right? Anyway, moving on. 287 Concord Street. This is a notice of intent. I believe this is a small addition going on a house. Is the applicant here or the applicant's representative?
And Thompson representing Ann Carroll, and it's Steve Carroll. They're both here.
We're here.
We're here.
Haven't seen you in a while, Ken. Where you been?
Busy.
Okay,
There's
well,
too much going on here, guys. You know,
well, I think this will be a smooth one. Anyway, motion to open the hearing for 287 Concord Street, Lorraine.
So moved.
Second,
There we go. So, Lorraine and Charlene. Okay, floor's yours, Ken. If you
all
can
right,
share your screen, that'd be great.
yep, here we go.
Thank you.
Tried to make that drawing a little bigger for everybody. We've got a wetland. We take street runoff from Concord Street, and it drains down and puddles down in this area here. It has some wetland vegetation. It has organic soils. Then it overflows through a head wall, through a buried pipe out to the back, and enters like a man-made ditch that runs behind the houses of Heritage Drive down here. It's straight as an arrow and about 8 feet wide, and it drains to French's Brook, which is, I don't know, it's more than 200 feet away. So here's your 25-foot buffer, 50-foot buffer, and the 100's up here at the top of the screen. I colored this up so it makes it easy. We have a porch, a proposed addition, a proposed carport. I had it wrong in the application. This portion of the deck is going to stay, and they're going to add these pieces on. They're going to cut this piece out, slab on grade construction. This little staircase here leads down to an entrance. They were going to entrance to their cellar. They were proposing that's in the 25-foot buffer zone, and half the addition and half the existing deck are in there. Marty brought up a few issues that we need to attend to. One, mitigation for the stairwell going down, and also there's a pipe leader coming off off the roof runoff. It's piped over the edge of the wetland and is draining into the wetland, and it's starting a little bit of erosion. So I sent off to NDS. It's a drywall manufacturer, and you send them the plan and they size it for you. I don't know the number of the storm. I read 6.25, which seems large to me, but maybe I'm wrong. So we'll propose to collect this water and infiltrate it, and probably a second one over here and collect the roof runoff and the carport and put it in this area. The elevation of the pipe here is at 95.5, but the majority of the yard's 100. So we're 4.5 feet up. And I don't believe we're going to run into have to dewater. Ann made a comment yesterday that she hasn't had water in the cellar in 15 years. Well, I live on the other side of French's stream on Spring Street, just about the same length up the roads. And I've been here 35 years and I've only had water twice, and they're very extreme events. Everybody had water at that time. Anyways, but we don't have we don't have any data for that. I'm just assuming that we're not really going to hit it, but if we do, we'll pump it up and put it into a hay bale dam lined with fabric, and then put diffuser on an end of the hose. I mean, this is what they do in natural gas pipelines, so they use a filter sock or something like that. Instead of digging a hole in the yard, we can just put this up and then clean it up after it drains through.
Okay.
That's pretty much where we're at here. Storage area. I did send along an updated plan from the Webby surveying, but the stockpile areas in the front yard, everything has to come through the top as Marty recommended, because there's not a lot of room over here to get anything in. Oh, this pink line will be the limit of work, and we'll have erosion controls. It's a mulch sock. Can I entertain any questions?
I'll let Marty present her side of it, and then we'll go from there. Thank you.
I'm Marty Dover with the Beta Group again. We provided the peer review on this notice of intent filing. We did inspect the site. We agreed with the resource area boundary delineation performed by Ken. All our comments that we outlined in our peer review letter seem to be addressed. Ken's response letter. I haven't seen the revised plan yet. I expect to see that and have a chance to review it just to make sure everything's on there. This particular project can't be closed tonight. There's no DEP file number. So there's time to button everything up and make sure everything is on the plan that we've asked for and everything. So the one thing the commission will need to vote on is the waiver of, to work in that 25-foot no touch. The site is disturbed, it's developed, there's an existing house there. They are providing some mitigation for that. So at this point, we don't see any reason why the commission shouldn't vote to issue that waiver, as long as the other mitigation measures and construction measures are performed just to protect that resource area. So at this point, Ken seems to have addressed everything, and we're just waiting to get the revised plan, and we'll be able to probably at the next meeting, there'll be a file number. We can have a draft order of conditions ready.
May I, Marty? That draft plan's attached to the response. Okay.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Like page 3.
Okay. I just scrolled down through what your response is.
I understand.
I didn't get that part. Sorry.
No problem.
I was looking at.
And when
Okay.
when I get the design back for the infiltration basins, I should have a response tomorrow, and I'll forward all that, the spec sheets and all that stuff to you.
Okay.
Okay. So before I take any questions from the board or the audience, so this site, I've been on it, just to kind of give everybody a perspective. If you could leave that plan up there, Ken, that would be helpful.
No worries.
So between the pink line and the green line, let's just say for everybody looking at this plan, that's an existing grass area. It's a lawn, it's a developed area. So as far as our 25-foot no disturb zone, they're working on the edge of it, but it's, at least in my opinion, the board can vote on this. It's not an issue. It's not an area that's being cleared or, or anything like that. So I think that Marty's spot on. It's really not an issue to get into the, as far as our no disturb zone. So questions from the board. I'll start with who's in this room, and then I'll move to Lorraine and Charlene. Virginia, you have any questions?
So it's just in the edge of the 25-foot zone?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right there, the pink line is the
blue line's 24. This is the erosion control.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
If you see the edge of the house is in
It's
there.
right there. Yes, I noticed.
So,
Okay, thanks.
anything else? Ron, you have any questions? Lorraine, Charlene?
No, since the house is already in existence and probably before all these lines were put in there and anybody knew about it, they have their home there. I have no problem as long as Marta says, that the erosion controls for the construction is in place to, mitigate any kind of damage.
Lorraine,
I'm in agreement with Charlene.
but not with me, is a shocker.
We're
Anyway,
here, you're not.
okay, does anybody in the audience have any questions?
Yeah, as an abutter, my name's Jim McGrath.
Okay,
Just wondering how close that comes to the property line there, this proposed carport,
what is your address, sir?
277 Concord. We're Ann and Steve's neighbor.
Okay. I'm sure that Ken can answer that. Ken, how close are you to the property line? Not any closer than the house is already, but go ahead.
I'll be honest, I'm not sure, and I'd have to get rid of the screen, open up AutoCAD to tell you.
Also, is that carport attached to the house, or is that detached?
Detached.
It is. Okay.
And is it a choose level?
Oh, my wife was wondering about the addition. Is that a single level or a double level?
I believe it's a single level, and they're gonna add on a kitchen.
It's a
And-
double level.
Double
Oh, it's a double level, okay.
It's a
Double level?
Level it is.
Yeah, is there a foundation or is it, what is it?
Footings.
It's going down on a slab on grade foundation, so it's like 4 feet into the ground. It sticks up about a foot, like a garage foundation would be.
Yeah, slab.
Yeah, and then, yes.
I was just concerned with any roof off of that carport draining into the fence area.
We're gonna pick that up and put it in an infiltration pit, a dry well.
Yeah,
So we'll collect the rain off of both sides of the carport and the house, the addition here. And
I
we'll
see.
we'll put up one of those plastic cans in the ground surrounded by gravel. So
yeah.
it should sink in.
And is that like a pitched roof on that carport, or?
And you're gonna have to speak to that. I've never seen the architectural drawings.
I don't have it with me. I can't answer that, but I can address it at a later date. I have to look at the plans.
Yeah.
I know it's a carport. I can pitch it. It has to be pitched, right?
You don't
Yeah, it
really
would have to be pitched.
Yeah, it has to be pitched.
Yeah,
It would have to be.
I'm just wondering if that's extending closer to the property line, to that 5 foot, whatever it is. What was the?
Yeah, 5.
It looks like it's on the edge of the driveway, inside the edge of the driveway.
I see.
See what
The
it looks?
existing driveway, yes.
Yeah.
Just so everybody knows, that's on the hearing, I mean, this has to be issued a building permit by the building inspector, which is a zoning enforcement officer. He'll look at all the property lines and setbacks and stuff like that when he issues the permit.
I see.
As far as for this hearing, they are picking up all the roof runoff and putting it into a dry well. So no matter how the pitch of the roof runs, it's still being picked up. So I think that answers your question.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
Okay, does anybody else have any questions in the audience? We can't close the hearing tonight because we do not have a DEP file number. So this hearing will be continued until June 8th. And at that point, I'm sure that Marty and Ken will have a couple of the minor details all worked out by then, and we'll have a draft order in hand. Marty, Ken, agreed?
Yep.
Okay, motion to continue to June 8th.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everybody.
Thanks so much.
I
Be
need a
safe.
motion.
So moved.
All right, so that's Virginia and Ron. Thank you. All right, last thing on the agenda. So for anybody who's here for the shingle mill project, the actual project itself has been continued until our June 8th hearing. but we will be hearing the remainder of the pump test. I believe anyway. I mean, this is kind of taking a lot of turns here, and I'm even getting a little confused on it. So, is the representative here for Eagle Mill?
Yes, I am, Mr. Chairman. Mike Toohill from Conoco.
Okay, Mike, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Was I accurate in that the hearing itself's been continued, but the pump test, you wanted to finish that up tonight?
That's correct.
Okay, good. All right, the floor is yours, sir.
Okay, so when we last met on the pump test project, the commission had a few questions, and the questions revolved around, I think, a couple different areas. One was some more specifics on the wells themselves, and I sent the commissioners and Marty an email with the depths. I think the question was, what are the depths of the wells, and where the water bearing zones, where it's going to be screened, or it'll be screened below the water bearing zones. So I sent all that information to the commission, and it also, I put down the actual pumping rate that could come out of the wells. The pump test has from the DEP has different criteria for the pump rates. I think they're below what the pump rates were from the driller's report, which is where I got those numbers. We had previously submitted the DEP approval, which included all the information about the protocol for the pump test and the testing of the water quality and how the wells are going to be pumped and all that. The last time we met, we did talk about, we added some additional controls around the discharge end, which was a crib of hay bales with filter fabric inside, some stone on the outside. And we're adding another layer of protection on that by putting in a row of compost socks on the downstream side of that. I think the final question had to do with whether we needed to do a stormwater report. And the commission received an email from the DEP about that. And I think that reply from Andrew down Southeast region kind of backs up my assertion that this is not stormwater. And actually, then I wish the one thing he would have quoted was right in the stormwater guidance on volume 1, page 2. It says stormwater results from precipitation and snowmelt runoff. And we're neither of those. And we don't have any of the other issues that Andrew pointed out in his email to you. So we continue to request that we not have to do a stormwater report, since this is not stormwater. This is a 48-hour long pump test. The commission was also, in the original peer review report, Marty had suggested some timing for the pump test. And since it's already May 11th, and we were talking about, at Marty's request, not pumping, before June 1st, I think it's pretty clear we're not going to be able to pump, and we'd be happy to have that as a condition, that we can't pump before June 1st. And we had already moved that one piezometer out of the vernal pool into the 25-foot buffer outside the vernal pool. The other two piezometers in the wetlands and staff gauges remain so that we can test drawdown and see if there is any effect on the resource areas.
Okay.
I think, Mr. Chairman, those were the issues that we talked about the last time. Obviously, if the commission has any other questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Okay. I did see that email from DEP, and Marty saw that email. I don't believe that was ever a question, because Marty and I were trying to figure out who actually asked that question of DEP, but I mean, I read through the entire DEP report, and I would agree. It's, non-contaminated water being drawn out of the ground, which doesn't require that. But Marty, do you have any comments?
I actually had no idea what Andrew Point from DEP was. I didn't understand what question was asked of him. I had no idea what the email even meant, to be honest with you. I didn't realize it pertained to whether or not the project was subject to the DEP stormwater regs and standards or not. So Alls I can say is, you know, on the notice of intent form, there's three types of projects that are not subject to stormwater regs. And this project's not one of those three. And really, you know, to fill out a DEP checklist and provide, you know, a response to the applicable standards, which one of them would be erosion and sediment control, I wouldn't have been a big deal. But it sounds like the applicant is drawing a line in the sand. And at this point, I wouldn't recommend to the commission to make an issue of it. But especially since they are providing erosion and sediment control by using hay bales and you know, and controlling the discharge from the pump test, which is going to be quite a bit of water. I would advise the commission to say deny the project because there's no checklist involved. So, but that being said, you know, our March 8th letter had some recommended conditions for the project in it that I continue to recommend. I also would recommend that certain statements be made in an order of conditions such as, you know, the resource boundaries. Not all resource areas are shown on the plan that exist on the site. The zone A that exists on the site is not shown on the plan, but it does exist, things like that. So I do recommend that the commission really craft your order well, because once this order is issued, it's good for 3 years, which would actually transfer to the other NOI project that's before you. So
I would agree. I would agree 100%, Marty.
yeah, so I would recommend to the commission to, at your next hearing, I'll have a draft order ready and we can go through it. And just make sure it's a tight order. It, you know, it has in it what it needs to have in it.
Basically, I'm gonna go down the road of the Rocklin Conservation Commission is confirming nothing except for a pump test being administered on the site. And that's basically the only thing that we are confirming and approving.
Mhm. But like I said, you got to be very careful. I mean, I've written orders in the past that you think you have everything covered and then there's surprises. So I just want to make sure that this particular one is written well and it's, you know, it specifically states things.
Well,
So.
one thing's for sure, we are in a public forum right now. We are in a public hearing and there are many members of the public on this meeting, and I'm sure they're all hearing our concern. So if something does happen to get, you know, missed or slip through the cracks, which I don't believe that's what the applicant's going to try to do, but you know, not like it hasn't happened before. It's been said in a public hearing exactly what the Conservation Commission is expecting from this pump test. And I'm sure we can go back to this hearing and review it if we need to.
Mhm.
Agreed,
Yeah,
everybody?
Mr. Chairman, this is Mike Toohill. On behalf of the applicant, I agree with Marty. We are not trying to have any of the decisions made on this pump test carry over into the larger project. We showed the resource areas that were delineated on the site, which is the wetlands. That's the closest resource area to the wells and to the discharge point. We know that we owe additional information on streams, on zone A's, other materials in the larger project, and we'd be happy to have a condition just states that, you know, we have not provided that, and therefore this order of conditions does not speak to those issues.
And like I said, I didn't say, or, you know, I didn't, you know, go down the road of saying that that's your intention, but, you know, we need to protect ourselves, and I'm sure you understand that. So
I do.
Please don't take that the wrong way, because
No.
that's not the way I meant it. So, Marty, you know, you've written a couple orders in your time, so I'm sure that you'll do a, you know, amazing job on this one. I have no doubt. So, does the board have any questions on the pump test? Virginia has abstained from this hearing, by the way. Lorraine, Charlene, any questions on your end?
I don't have any questions. I have listened to what Marty has to say, and I have listened to what Mr. Tohill is agreeing with Marty, and I say, Marty, write those conditions as tight as possible.
Nothing like Charlene to repeat what I just said, but you know what? That's what she's here for. Lorraine?
I don't have any questions at this time, but I want to make sure that those conditions are tight as possible as well. I don't want to see any disturbance of the vernal pool or within 25 feet of the vernal pool or any other wet area that might be considered a vernal pool but hasn't been approved as a vernal pool, let's say. And I want to make sure that these conditions, should this go through, are tight, as tight as can be.
Okay. Well, I think that we've already heard from Marty that's, you know, that's her specialty and that's, you know, and that's what we pay her for. She is representing our board. So I think we all have full confidence in that. I don't think we even need to really discuss that any further. So does anybody in the audience have any questions? If anybody's going to ask a question, I need a name and address, please, one at a time. Mary, I saw your hand. I wasn't even looking at the damn screen.
Hi, Mary Parsons, 754 Union Street, Rocklin, Massachusetts. I'd like a copy of that email from DEP that you were talking about, that you don't know who wrote it.
No. We know who wrote it, but
You gave a name, Andrew. Was that Andrew Poignant?
Yes.
Yep. I'll be glad to send it to you. It's, you know, that's not an issue. It's a public record. So.
Yes, I would appreciate that.
You know what? While
yes, you can consider it a public records request.
I'm sure you have more questions. So while you're talking, I will send that to you. So please keep going, Mary. You have any other questions?
Okay, I'm not too sure if I have any more questions. I think Marty had asked the questions that I wanted to ask the last time around, and she's pretty clear on what she's going to do next. So I think I'm all set.
And your public records request is officially all set. It's in your email.
Okay.
Okay. Does anybody else
Thank
have any
you.
other questions?
Yeah, question here from John Wagner, 139 Turner Road. How long would the pump test go on? And then I'm curious as to how noisy is this going to be for the abutters?
I believe it's a 48-hour pump test because that's actually the title of it. But
okay.
I mean, I'm not speaking for the applicant, but I don't think you're going to hear anything. But Michael, okay. You have any comments?
Yeah, there will have to be a generator on site to run the pumps. They usually bring in a decent sized generator on the back of a truck for something like this, because I think the wells are 15 gallons a minute, so it's not an overly large well.
Okay.
But they have to run them constantly, so they'll be running during the day and during the night. They don't shut them off at night.
Okay, 48 hours.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I don't, what timing are you thinking of?
Days, you mean?
Day. Yeah. What date?
Well, the commission, if the commission votes to approve tonight, I imagine, and you can correct me, Mr. Chairman, I imagine that the order will come back for the June 8th meeting.
Okay.
For signature, and so we wouldn't be able to start until really 10 business days after that, because there's an appeal period after the order is actually signed and issued.
All right. I appreciate that, Michael. Thank you.
Sure.
The secretary would like you to repeat your name and address, please.
There we go. Had unmuted. Yeah, it's John Wagner, Wojner, 139 Turner Road.
All right, John. Thank you very much.
You betcha. Thank you.
Okay. Does anybody else in the audience have any questions? Man, my tongue tied tonight. Okay. to Marty. I think we have all the information we need, correct?
Yes, yes, you do. I'm just looking at the, it's May 11th, and your next meeting's the 8th of June, so you have to, once your hearing is closed, you need to issue the order within 21 days, so.
So how about we do this? Michael, are you all right with us leaving the hearing open to the 8th? We'll have orders in hand and closing the hearing and issuing orders on the same night?
I would prefer, Mr. Chairman, if you close the hearing tonight and we'll waive the 21 days so that you can come back with the order of conditions on the June 8th meeting.
Well, it is your hearing and you certainly have that right. And that's as long as you send me a waiver letter, that's perfectly fine with the commission.
I'll do that.
Okay, so pending the letter, I mean, it's public record that they've waived the 21-day appeal, the 21-day decision period. Motion to close the hearing for the 48-hour pump test. That's Ron and Lorraine, Charlene, second.
Second.
Okay, and that's all in favor, and Virginia has abstained from this hearing.
She has to.
Just repeat it
Yes.
again. Okay. All right, Michael, you're all set, and we'll see you on the 8th with orders in hand.
Thank you. I'll send an email over right away waiving the 21 days.
Okay, and just to kind of button this up, Marty, can we get the orders to him a couple days prior to the hearing? Next hearing?
Sure.
Just so if there's,
Mhm.
Okay?
Great.
Okay, works for me.
Thank you.
You have a good night. And as I mentioned, Dyer Street's been continued, so that's the entire agenda. So now we just have some bills to pay and then the meeting's done. Or if we even have bills to pay, I'll let the secretary take over.
I'd like to ask the secretary if she received the bill from MACC for our dues.
Yeah, I do have it. It's part of the bills for tonight.
Okay, good.
Perfect. Okay, do we have any other bills to pay?
Yeah, my payroll is still being tied up because I need to get signatures from Lorraine and Charlene for them to pay it. They won't pay it based off of the prior process that we had before. So Lorraine or Charlene, I'm gonna need to meet up with you to sign the document.
Lorraine, Charlene, that work for you?
That's fine with me.
Okay.
Well, I mean, as you guys know, I can't sign that, so.
Yes.
So, if at some point, you guys could get together, that'd be great. Or we could just say, screw it and not pay her, but, whatever. That's really kind of up to you guys. Then again, she might quit, but who knows? Do we have any beta bills or anything, or?
Yeah, I do. I have a couple to submit to, so I need you guys to vote to pay.
Okay.
Motion to pay the bills.
Motion to pay the peer review bills. That's Virginia and Ron. Lorraine, Charlene, you okay with that? I didn't hear you. God, I can't wait to get back to the freaking town hall. I don't even know what to say about this. I thought I'd never say that, by the way. But anyway, Lorraine, Charlene, the bills, okay to pay?
Yes.
So, can't wait to see you people in person again. Okay, do we have anything else?
I don't know if you have an update on Monahan, if you want to talk about that at all.
No, that is under old/new business. Well, Marty, you know what? You're here. Unless you already hung up. Did you already hang up?
No, I stayed. As far as we don't have a real recent update on Monahan. We haven't been out there for over a week. A week ago today, they were going to start clearing, we'll call it phase 2. We did get out there the Friday prior to that and conducted a site inspection to make sure all the erosion controls were in place at the crossing, as well as the turtle exclusion fencing that was surrounding the area that they were going to start clearing. So we're planning on heading out there again at some point this week just to check in on the site. And I also sent Tom Carlton from Integrated Builders an email today just asking for an update on what they're doing out there. You know, our inspection on the Friday prior to the clearing, assuming it started, the vernal pools were still intact. There was no sediment getting into them, no silt. So things were under control. So, but it has been raining. So hopefully they stayed on top of it, and we're gonna get out there this week to make sure that everything's still okay.
They have been sending their reports religiously, so.
Yep.
And you know, you and I have been reading them, so.
Yep.
And there really hasn't been any issues, so.
Mhm.
There's your update on the Moynihan rink. As far as
Thank
I'm
you.
concerned, that's a wrap. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor? Lorraine, Charlene?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Have a good night. Thank you.
You.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
See ya. Thank you.